We call ourselves CiiiTY, but we global. And everybody that has a voice is allowed to be vocal.
Guaranteed, but what do you have in your pockets? Guarantee he has some shit in his pockets right now.
Well, I got the calculator.
Calculator, wow, look at that.
I didn't know if we had to do any math. I thought it was my phone, grabbed it on the way out. The phone, the classic, the cassette, obviously, the lighter, whatever. The grills, just in case,
When I said some shit, I didn't know he was gonna pull a whole fucking purse out of his pocket.
What else I got? I got the AirPods. Shoot. And I got a quarter.
A quarter?
Yeah, that's how we're gonna pay for this.
Is that why the calculator was there, so you could calculate your change?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm bad at math, so I like to bring it around with me, wherever I go. Just so I can kind of, keep up with things, you know what I'm saying?
Dylan's interesting.
I'm not gonna let it get me down,
He's strange.
He's strange.
Bro, you ain't explaining it though.
Well, yeah, because, if you ask me to explain shit, we can sit here for...
You can't explain it.
Oh, I can't explain that.
It's unexplained because you can't explain how strange you are.
That's why it's strange and unexplained.
Yeah.
Well, we could tell him, though, how strange and unexplained the name did come.
Yeah, I want to know that.
Yes. Oh my god. You weren't there for that?
I wasn't there for that, actually.
So we went, it was with the crew, because I told you before, Change and Unexplained was a big group before everybody left. So we all were like, yeah, let's go to Tijuana Flats after today's meeting, you know what I'm saying? So we did a meeting, we went to Tijuana Flats, we're like, we need a band name. And so my guy Josh James looks up at the wall at Tijuana Flats. For people who don't know, Tijuana Flats covered in graffiti, you know what I'm saying? We look up at the wall, it says, embrace the strange and the unexplained. And he's like, bro, that's it.
That's it.
So then we went up to the manager and we were like, is that taken? Is that trademarked? Who did that? And they're like, nah, it's all local artists, you know what I'm saying? So if that's your art, hit me up. So sorry. But that's the name.
Someone's gonna see this interview
They're gonna be fucking pissed.
in a year when you guys are the biggest shit in hip hop and you're like,
Oh,
yeah,
fuck, bro.
Fuck those guys.
Sorry, we'll give you a cut. We'll give him a cut.
We'll give him.
Or backstage pass.
I'll give him the nickel.
Yeah, you won't give them. Yeah, save that. Keep that.
No, a quarter. I thought it was a quarter.
That's why I bring the calculator, man.
Bring up. You could
What is that right there? Get the fuck out of here.
Get your Canadian crap out of here, man. I don't know that stuff. I'm messing, bro. It's a dime.
You know what? Right before break, we were talking about hip hop a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and you guys brought up some dope artists. Is it? How can I say this? Is it hard to identify as hip hop artists? And today, hip hop artists have to look they don't have to, but they typically have to look a certain way and be flashy, wear jewelry, all that.
Well,
Is it hard to identify?
I mean, we sunburn easier. But
So,
for me, I don't see it as
No, in terms of
No, I know exactly what you're
how
saying.
you look.
So for
Even
me,
Post Malone just kind of looks hip hop-ish.
Oh, you talking about tattoos and stuff?
Yeah, everything, the
Oh,
whole
okay,
hip hop look.
Yeah.
well, so for me personally, a lot of, even if you look back to the names I think I said earlier, like Mac Miller, Logic, Eminem,
Mhm.
even if you go into Big Sean and all that, it's I don't know. I feel for the look, there's so many artists, at least that because I've been actually doing my research on the music industry and stuff lately, which I should have been doing a long time ago. But there are so many artists that people don't even hear about that have loyal followers, that have loyal fans, that are even if they only have 400, 500,000 followers on Instagram, they have those fans, and that's what's been able to keep them as independent artists.
Yeah.
And I think for me and those dudes, at least the ones I listen to, they just look like normal ass dudes,
Facts.
and so you never really know who could just fucking bust out a fucking freestyle. I could go and I could see a grandma, and she could start busting out a freestyle, and I'd be like, damn, she could be one of the fire rappers in the game. And so I just think if you put out content especially nowadays, where what you were saying, look is a lot of it.
Yeah.
And for my fit, most of the time, I'm in shorts and I'm in fucking Pizza Planet, Toy Story shirts. That's my favorite movie, is Toy Story. Or just fucking basketball clothes and shit like that. And to me, if I can make music and if I'm confident enough that my lyrics and my sound is going to reach enough people, then I don't gotta worry about what I look like. And if people got a problem with what I look like or they don't take me seriously, then either A, I don't want you as a fan, or B, let my music convince you otherwise.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, I mean it doesn't. And you know, and so I think it's just yeah.
Yeah, I fuck with that. No, I fuck with that answer though. Yeah.
So I
If it's
mean,
lit, it's lit, you know?
yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna go up, like, might as well go up being who you are, being yourself.
Yeah, and I think there are times, like, for example, though, like, when I put on a really nice suit, or, like, I put on some fucking pants, and, like, you know, the one nice belt that I have that costs, like, $500, and, like, I put on, you know, some nice jewelry and some nice sunglasses, like, yeah, I fucking feel a little, you know, a little higher, like, it makes me feel a little better, and I do know that especially in the hip-hop industry, that if I walked into a studio, for example, it's almost a respect thing. It's almost like a culture, I feel like, where if I walked into a studio wearing basketball shorts and a t-shirt, and yeah, that's who I am and I'm who I am, and another rapper is walking out of the studio wearing all Gucci fucking shit, you know, they might not fucking, even I go, what's up? They might not say what's up strictly because of what I'm wearing. And that's fine, you know, because that's just how it fucking is nowadays. But if I went in there and I'm wearing all Gucci shit, and, you know, and if we're wearing the same belt or we're wearing the same hat or some shit, you know, it might get him to look at me another time. And it might get him to be like, yo, like, what's your name? Or, you know, what you've been putting down? Or, you know, exchange numbers or some shit like that. And that necessarily isn't me giving up who I am, because me dressing differently isn't necessarily, you know, I'm still the same in here.
Yeah.
But it's just an aspect of it, you know, and so I think it's hard. Like, you gotta find that line. And for me personally, I haven't found it yet, so you're either going to see me in basketball shorts and a t-shirt, or you're going to see me all decked out.
It's about dressing for the occasion, you know? So it's like, if you go in the studio, you know, dress up a little bit, you know? If you're going to be on stage, don't be, you know, like looking like you're on your couch, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
For sure.
dressing for the occasion, still keeping your own style, but like,
Yeah.
You
Because
know, someone
hip hop
else
is very stylistic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very
Yeah.
fashion.
and I try to lift others up with whatever clothing I'm wearing. Like this right here is a Miami graffiti artist, you know what I'm saying? So whoever I'm wearing, it's normally local. It's normally somebody who's trying to make it in like the clothing or art industry, you know what I'm saying? So I always try to lift others up with whatever I'm wearing.
That's dope. That's dope shit. On another note, hip hop, right? I feel like it's a very broad. It's so much broader today, like in terms of like variety of music and artists, and just hip hop is bigger now than it was before.
sure.
And I think a lot of people have the perspective that hip hop is dying, but it's just evolving in a crazy way. So categorically, where would you guys put yourself in hip hop and just the kind of music you make? And what category would it be? I know it's closer to rock, and you know, closer to. I feel like maybe it's closer to the Post Malones of the game. It's kind of like rock and different styles. But like, where would you guys put your music at?
I think Post Malone's a pretty good reference point. As
I don't
far
know,
as,
I think we have
fans.
to, like, think about it a little deeper, though, because, like I said before, like, we have so many feels. Like, the All Night Beat is reggaeton. The Tip of the Tongue is strictly rock. Like, Run the Town is, it's like funky pop.
It's like it
shit,
varies
you know what
on
I
the
mean?
song.
So, I think if I had to really, like, narrow it down, if I could give you a year, I think that would make it better.
Yeah,
Like,
that would be perfect.
if
actually.
like early 2000s, not even necessarily for one genre, but just early 2000s, maybe late 90s, where it was like everybody's just experimenting with shit, and we were just hearing shit that like we had never heard before, or shit that we hadn't heard in a long time, like people in the early 2000s bringing back that kind of shit from like the 80s and the 70s and all that. So for me, it's like, it's crazy, because when you think about all music, it's like so many songs. Like, you could start singing a song and it might sound exactly like another rap song, but they had nothing to do with each other and they didn't know. And that's just so much music, because really, if you really think about it, like, everything's been done musically wise.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back to like the 20s and the 30s and all that shit. I mean, it's hard to think of new stuff musically. So I think really, if what we're trying to do is almost take a little bit from everywhere and put it together, like I was saying before, having one song, even if we just have one song for each person that they like. So I think, but then yes, then again, like you just said, it's evolving, it's not dying. So maybe also, just putting ourselves like in this time, in the present, because it's what we are, and like every time I hear some new shit, because I have a tendency, whether bad or good, to just listen to the same music I've been listening to for the last my whole life.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I gotta force myself sometimes to just go on Apple Music or go on Spotify and just literally just type in an artist I've never heard of and like put on a radio station and just listen to all the shit I haven't heard. And you do hear stuff, you know, that's like new or like that I haven't really thought about before. And it's like, how can I take what they just did, but only take enough of it and use it with my stuff so, you know, we don't get in trouble, but also so people, because clearly people like the shit that's on the radio.
Yeah.
So it's like, how the fuck can I use that? And somebody told me once, you should always, somebody when I was doing theater, somebody told me like, you should always take something from another actor. You should always take something from another singer, and you should use it, whether it's, if somebody goes up on stage and makes a fool of themselves, you know not to do that in the future.
Yeah.
If somebody goes up on the stage and does something fucking awesome, you're like, damn, I want to do that on one of my shows. You take that, and it's just all like a learning. So, but to your question, I think yes, I think either 2000s, early 2000s, or just like right now.
Yeah, ahead of the curve maybe too.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so, because you guys are very different in the ways you're approaching hip hop in your own way. And, you know, I think the song Run the Town is a good example of just how you guys, you know, have your own unique.
Yeah, and so like for example,
rhythm.
with that song totally put me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know, he made this beat and he has the
I can't
lyrics.
take credit for that. Issa Torres
Oh,
made that
sorry,
beat.
but
Shout out
he
to
had
Issa
the
Torres for
beat.
producing that.
And he, you know, he showed to me, he's like, I got this idea for a song, and he has, we didn't bring, so if you go on and if you look on that song, the picture for that song is two Muppets that are supposed to look like Dylan and I, and he actually has those Muppets, and he bought them.
Oh, word.
But so for that song specifically, like that made me step out of my comfort zone and write some shit that I didn't think I would ever write.
Yeah.
And so I just, sorry, I know I cut you off earlier, but.
You know, I'd say with that song, it took me out of my comfort zone too, a lot, you know. That was, that's the first time we released Straight Unexplained. I'm still used to like...
It took me out of my comfort zone listening to it.
Yeah, well like the first half, that first verse is super serious, you know, about this girl or whatever. And then the second verse, I was like, listening to some Gambino, and I was like, I'm gonna get a little vulgar with it.
It's funny because I do still every day learn some shit from him making music, which is why I really do, you know, like doing this thing as a duo, where it's like, for me, when I'm going about writing a song, I think we actually had this conversation too the other day. I go about it, I'm sitting down, I have a beat, I gotta go through like 100 fucking beats before I find the one that I want. And so I'm going through it, and I will play that beat back maybe 500 times in total before I've written the whole song. I'll write a line, run it back, sing that line, go to write the next line, write it down, you know, and do that shit. And it's like I'm thinking like storyline, arc, all this shit.
Yeah.
And he just comes in here sometimes and just having fun with it. And I'm like, I got to do that more often, you know, because at the end of the day, yeah, it's music, and you want to get your feelings and all that shit into lyrics, and because that's what you do. But at the end of the day, it should be the most fun thing you're doing. I mean, we're trying to do it for our career, like, and at the, you know, so you know, you gotta have some fun with some shit. But yes, like he's just about to say,
you just using it therapeutically like that, so you get caught up
in the same way you inspire me to kind of go. Like I used to go in depth with my lyrics when I did my solo thing way before this. But, you know, you inspire me to go more in depth with the lyrics. Like that first verse on the Greco song that everyone's going to hear, like, that took me so long to write.
And that is one of your most fire verses I think I've ever heard you write.
I appreciate that.
I mean, in my opinion, you know, that's what I'm saying, because that's what I like, you know.
Because I wanted it to mean something. I wanted someone, you know, to listen to that and be like, that's me.
And I think it's perfect. I think you picked a really good time to write a verse like that, because when you listen to Greco's verses on that, it's almost kind of, in my opinion, a little bit of what he does usually. Mm-hmm. So it was really, you kind of have me and him on the ends with the foundation, and then we were able to put Greco in there and make it sound so smooth because his voice fit the beat, his vibe just fit what we did for those other verses, and so I think this is probably one of our better songs, actually, if I have to be honest, coming out on Wednesday.
Strange and Unexplained, you guys are like the most unique group of guys I've probably had in this room. So
appreciate that.
Thank you guys again.
Shout out,
guys, check it out.
They call us CiiiTY, but we global.
And everyone that has a voice is allowed to be vocal.
Yeah.
Oh, that shit.
Beautiful, I know, right?
We call ourselves CiiiTY, but we global. And everybody that has a voice is allowed to be vocal.